Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. First, let me provide a small introduction to Bold Reports report server. It is an application that provides organizations with an easy and cost-effective way to add reporting capabilities to their existing infrastructure without requiring any development effort. With Bold Reports report server, we can create, manage, and share reports easily without having to write any code. One of the major benefits of Bold Reports report server is that it can be deployed on premises or in the cloud, providing flexibility to organizations to choose a deployment option that suits their needs. In this video, I am going to explain the steps to deploy report server on Google Kubernetes Engine with Ingress. Let's look at the cluster prerequisites for deploying Bold Reports report server. The hardware requirements are: a CPU with 2 or more cores. Each machine should have at least 4 GB of RAM. And the software requirements for running the report server are: a database like Microsoft SQL Server 2012 or newer, PostgreSQL or MySQL. Make sure your database is accessible outside the machine too. Command line tools kubectl and Google Cloud CLI. Any web browser like Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, or Google Chrome. Now let me start the deployment. Download the Bold Reports Kubernetes deployment files from GitHub. I have provided a link in the description below. Let me explain the usage of each file. I open this folder where I have put all the deployment files using Visual Studio Code. Deployment contains the configuration to create and manage the pods using a replica set. Configuration in HPA_GKE is used to automatically increase or decrease the number of pods in response to the workload's CPU or memory consumption. Next, Ingress contains the configuration for controlling the traffic routing and exposes HTTP and HTTPS routes from outside the cluster to services within the cluster. Log4net_config contains configuration settings that are used to view the application logs in your Kubernetes console or store the needed logs in a file. Namespace contains configuration that will be helpful when different teams or projects share a Kubernetes cluster. Next, pvclaim_GKE contains the configuration for where we will provide the information for file store and file share. And service provides a single point of entry for accessing one or more pods. I have already created the Kubernetes cluster to deploy Bold Reports. The next step is to connect with the GKE cluster. I open PowerShell and navigate to the folder where I have downloaded the deployment files. I run this command to authenticate Google Cloud. Next, I open the Google Cloud Kubernetes page and click the Connect option for the cluster we are going to connect. Then I copy the command and run it in PowerShell. We are now connected with the cluster. Next, I have to deploy the Nginx Ingress controller. I run this command. Now I have to configure the file storage for pods. I have created the Google File Store instance to store the shared folder for application usage, and made a note of the file share name and IP address which will be used in the next step. Now let me open the pvclaim_GKE file and add the file share name with the prefix / as the NFS path value. Then I add the file share IP address as the NFS server value. Then I run this command to create a namespace for Bold Reports. Here, Bold Services is my namespace. Next, I run this command to create the config map. In this demo, I am going to deploy the report server using the Ingress IP address. If you would like to set up the report server with a domain, then you can directly add the domain name and TLS secret name under the TLS and rules section in the ingress.yaml file. By default, the application will be hosted in non-SSL mode. If you want to configure SSL, we need to add the domain and SSL configuration in the ingress.yaml file. Before configuring SSL, I need to create the TLS secret with the SSL certificate by running this command. Here, bold reports TLS is the secret name. This indicates the path for the .pem file and the .crt file path. You should use your domain SSL certificate. Run this command to apply the bold reports ingress and get the IP address of the Nginx Ingress. Run this command until you get an ingress IP address. Once you have the IP address, you need to map the IP address with the DNS you added in the ingress.yaml file. Here I am going to deploy the application using the IP address. Next, open the deployment.yaml file. And then replace the DNS or ingress IP address in the application base URL. If you want to use third-party data sources optional client libraries like MySQL, Oracle, and PostgreSQL, then you need to install them while deploying the report server. If you want to install more than one client library, then separate each with commas. Here I specify MySQL, Oracle, and PostgreSQL. Then I apply the configuration from pvclaim_gke by running this command for creating a persistent volume and persistent volume claim. Then I apply the configuration in the deployment file by running this command for creating and managing pods with the specified number of replicas with the provided image. Next, I apply the configuration in hpa_gke by running this command for setting up autoscaling for the Kubernetes horizontal pod autoscaler. And then I create all the services by running this command. You will see the services are created. Once all the deployment files are applied, we need to check the pod status. To do that, I run this command. Let me run the command again. Once all the pods are running, open the browser and then navigate to the DNS or IP address in the deployment.yaml file to start the application. It will open the application startup page. First, we need to activate the Bold Reports account either by using online credentials or by uploading the unlock key file. You can download the unlock key file from your Bold Reports accounts page and upload it here. For this demonstration, I am going to activate it by using online credentials. I click Login to activate account and enter my Bold Reports credentials. Since I have only one portal license, the portal license selection process was skipped in this setup. If you have more than one portal license, you need to select one. Next, I will configure the administrator user by entering the user information and password. Then I click the Next button. Here we can configure the database to store the report server data. You can store reports in SQL Server, PostgreSQL, or MySQL databases. I choose PostgreSQL for this demo, and the fields will be reloaded based on the selected database. I provide the necessary information in the required fields. The New Database option allows you to create a new database. And the Existing Database option allows you to use an already created database in the selected server type. I choose New Database. And I provide the database name Bold Services Kubernetes. Then I turn on the Enable SSL option to make a secure connection using SSL. I click the Next button. The report tenant deployment has started and will run in the background. Next, I click Go to Reports and am redirected to the View All page. Here, the sample reports that are already available with the report server can be added by clicking Explore in the Report Sample pop-up. You will see the list of samples already added. By clicking the Add Report button, you can add these reports to the report server. The reports will be added under the Sample Reports category. Clicking on an added report will open it in the report viewer. The final configuration of Bold Reports report server with visualization report items such as charts and gauges will not be available for exporting. To export data visualization report items when scheduling reports, we need to install the PhantomJS client library in our report server. PhantomJS is a headless WebKit scriptable with JavaScript. Let's see how to install it. Before installing PhantomJS, we need to bash our pods. I run this command. Here I am going to use the reports web deployment pod and bold services in the namespace. Now we will be inside our container. We need to change the current directory to /application/app_data/optional_libs by running this command. Now the current directory is changed to /application/app_data/optional_libs. Then I install the sudo and wget tools. Once those are installed, I have to install some required packages before I can install PhantomJS. I run this command. Next I will download the latest stable version of PhantomJS from the official website by running this command. Once the download is complete, extract the downloaded archive file to the desired system location by running this command. It will extract the downloaded file and move it to the /usr/local/share directory. Next, I create a symlink of the PhantomJS binary file to the system's bin directory by running this command. Verify whether PhantomJS is installed properly by running this command. If it shows the version number, then PhantomJS is installed properly. Let me summarize the points covered in this video. We walked through an introduction of Bold Reports report server, covered the steps to deploy the report server on the Google Kubernetes Engine, and then the steps to add optional client libraries. Lastly, we discussed the steps to install PhantomJS in the deployed application to export the data visualization report items when scheduling. If you found this video useful, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.